What is up, guys? It is Eli from Three Man Weave here today, and welcome back to the Chicago Bears franchise. And right now, we're checking out the Texans roster, as they will be the first team that we are facing. And some names that you kind of need to know are left tackle Dwayne Brown. He is the strongest member of their offensive line, and he will look to stop Leonard Floyd as he tries to rush the quarterback. And we are going to try to get Leonard Floyd as much sacks as possible so he can develop. Another name to know is J.J. Watt. I'm pretty sure you already know that name, but he is probably the best defender in the NFL currently, and of course he's the best defensive lineman, and we will see what he can do against Jay Cutler. Hopefully our offensive line can stop him. And another name to know is Vince Wilfork, the former Patriots defensive tackle. This is his second year in Houston, and we will see how he does as he also tries to get to the quarterback and sack Jay Cutler and get inside his head. Another name to know is wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins and wide receiver Will Fuller. DeAndre Hopkins is coming off, I believe he was the third highest in receptions and yards this year. And Will Fuller is a rookie that we really need to watch out for. He's really fast. And this is the debut of quarterback Brock Osweiler and running back Lamar Miller. So this new look kind of Texans offense looks to get started against our Chicago Bears. And here comes Brock Osweiler as he enters the field. 76 overall, as this is the start of the Brock Osweiler era in Houston, and hopefully we can end his homecoming, well, I guess his coming, and we can escape with a win. Right now they're going to hand it off to Lamar Miller on the very first play, and he's going to get tackled for a gain of 6 yards. Not really how we wanted to start out the game, but here we go. On the second play of the game, Brock Osweiler, he's going to drop back to pass, and it is almost intercepted by Danny Trevathan. He could not hold on to the ball, and that's kind of one of the downsides of Danny Trevathan. He doesn't seem to like to intercept the ball. He does like to tap it down and not go for the ball. But looking at this Texans backs and receivers, DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller and Lamar Miller really stick out, and they are the dynamic playmakers on offense. And they pass it right here to Cecil Shorts, and he cannot get both feet in bounds. So that's going to lead to a Texans punt and Jay Cutler entering the field. Jay Cutler is entering a year where he's trying to prove that he does deserve the money that he's got and trying to resurrect his career with Kevin White back and Alshon Jeffrey. So there really is no excuse for not putting up some big numbers. But right here, he is going to he's going to scramble. He's going to keep on scrambling, and I think he's going to gain 9 yards on this play. 8 yards, Jay Cutler. And it's 2nd and 3. Jay Cutler drops back to pass, hands it off to Jeremy Langford, who gets stopped for nothing on the play. Looking at the Chicago Bears offensive line, Kyle Long playing at center, kind of out of position, but he is the best member of our offensive line. Alshon Jeffrey, Jeremy Langford, and Kevin White outline our receivers and running backs. 3rd and 3 on our 38-yard line. Jay Cutler snaps the ball, hands it off to Jeremy Langford. Jeremy Langford is going to gain 5 yards as the Chicago Bears move the sticks. Now it's 3rd and 7 on our own 48-yard line. We're going to go ahead and pass this one to Kevin White, and Kevin White's going to get his first catch of his career, moving it down to the Texans' 48-yard line. Jay Cutler is 1 for 1 with 12 yards. We're going to go ahead, snap this ball, pass it to Jeremy Langford, who breaks a tackle, spins out of it, and gets, I believe, 8 yards on this pass. So Jay Cutler is now 2 for 2 for 20 yards, averaging 10 yards per pass. And right now it's 1st and 20 after a holding call. And Jay Cutler is going to go ahead and obviously pass this ball because of the fact that we are 20 yards away from the first down line. He's going to go deep for Alshon Jeffrey, and Alshon Jeffrey is going to pull down the catch, having no regard for the life of that cornerback. And we are at 3rd and goal. We are going to try to punch this in with the slant route to Alshon Jeffrey. And Jay Cutler drops back to pass, finds Alshon Jeffrey, but is sacked before he can get the ball out. Jadeveon Clowney meets Jay Cutler, and Jadeveon Clowney is another force on that defensive front. This is probably one of the best defenses that we will face, and we're gonna probably, I think we faced them twice this year. They're a really strong defense, and hopefully Jay Cutler can learn to play against strong defenses because we will play against a lot. But Brock Osweiler back on his second drive of his first game in Houston. He's going to drop back to pass, find DeAndre Hopkins, but DeAndre Hopkins will drop the ball. And that will lead to a 2nd down and 10. 2nd down and 3. Jay Cutler will get sacked by Danny Trevathan, and Akeem Hicks will be there to recover the fumble, and that will lead to the Chicago Bears offense taking the field again. The defense actually has stood out as one of the biggest playmakers on this team so far, and I'm really proud of this defense and the way they've been performing, especially Danny Trevathan. Besides the fact that he can't catch an interception and all he does is swat away the balls, but he is always there on every play, and that's really what you want from a middle linebacker. So Jay Cutler takes the field again, and he will pass this one to Zach Miller, who will break a tackle, break another tackle, and continue to go break another tackle. And if he didn't spin there, he might have been going still for a touchdown, but J.J. Watt's able to bring him down. 3rd and 13. Jay Cutler's going to pass this one to Alshon Jeffrey, and Alshon Jeffrey just mosses that man and scores his first touchdown of this season in his contract year. So he's looking for that big money, and so far he's proven that he deserves it. And it's like, pay me, Chicago. Just pay me. I want to stay here. Just pay me. Brock Osweiler drops back to pass. He finds Cecil Shorts III, and Cecil Shorts III is going to take this one into the end zone for a 57-yard touchdown. All right, Jay Cutler takes the field again. Jeremy Langford in the backfield. This is going to be a handoff to Jeremy Langford, and Jeremy Langford is going to gain 15 yards on this play. Actually, I think it's about 17 yards. And then he drops back to pass again. Finds Zach Miller, his tight end, who is becoming one of his favorite targets, and Zach Miller is going to get popped on the 2-yard line. Now we got to try our goal line offense, as we have been failing, but we didn't end up succeeding there, and we did end up kicking a field goal. But on our first drive of the second half, 4th and 1, we're going to try to go for it. I believe we are going to just try to run it in with Jeremy Langford. Oh, wait, no, we're going to try it. We end up calling a timeout. But I do believe that we will try to run the ball in with Jeremy Langford, and we'll see what happens. All right, 4th and 1 for the Chicago Bears on our own 48-yard line, as we will try to sneak this one in and try to get in to the Houston Texans territory and try to continue this drive and keep this drive alive. Houston's going to go ahead and stack that line. Jay Cutler is going to keep the same play, and he is going to end up getting stopped just inches shy of that first down mark. Brock Osweiler is going to drop back to pass again, pass it over the middle to DeAndre Hopkins, and I do believe that is one of DeAndre Hopkins' first catches. Brock Osweiler isn't doing too bad in his first career game with the Houston Texans, and Lamar Miller is going to run up the middle and get close to first down yardage, as it is 3rd and 1. All right, 3rd and 1 from the Bears' 39-yard line, and he is going to get stopped by Akeem Hicks. What a nice tackle as we force him to kick a field goal. Our defense does have our offenses back, as they did end up giving the ball up, and our defense comes out and forces a stop with no points, as Houston does miss the field goal. As we pass it over the middle to Alshon Jeffrey, who does take a gigantic hit, but he does hold on to the ball. Jay Cutler is 10 for 12 with 153 yards, and he is going to roll out, pass this one to Zach Miller, and Zach Miller is going to hold on to that ball again, as we do find Alshon Jeffrey again in the red zone on 3rd and 3, and it's going to be another touchdown for Alshon Jeffrey, and Alshon Jeffrey is definitely sending a message here that he needs to be paid. You need to pay him. Pay that man, Chicago. Jay Cutler drops back to pass, going for 2, so that we can make it a 2-touchdown lead, and that does not end up going well. So Houston trying to tie up this game and make it so that they are in striking distance with 6 minutes left. They're going to pass it to Strong, and Brock Osweiler is going to drop back to pass again. Pass it to DeAndre Hopkins, and DeAndre Hopkins is going to catch it and get about 15 yards. Brock Osweiler drops back to pass again, going over the middle to his tight end Wilson, and Wilson's going to make it all the way to the 19-yard line, I believe. Now fast forward to the 8-yard line. Lamar Miller is going to punch this one in, and the Houston Texans are now going to be down 5 points with 14-19, and Jay Cutler is going to drop back, try to throw this one deep to Alshon Jeffrey, and it is intercepted. And Alshon Jeffrey just couldn't come up with that one this time, and that might have been a big mistake for the Chicago Bears, as Brock Osweiler drops back to pass, throws it to DeAndre Hopkins, and Danny Trevathan stops him at the 23-yard line, I do believe, and we do get offsides penalty, forcing it to 2nd and 15 instead of 2nd and 20. But anyways, we are at our own 18-yard line trying to force them to not score and trying to force them to kick a field goal and give the ball back. But they do have a handoff to Lamar Miller, and Lamar Miller is stopped. Brockhauser drops back to pass, trying to find DeAndre Hopkins. Can't see him open, and he ends up throwing this one out the back of the end zone. 4th and 11, last play for the Houston Texans as they try, and no, it is tipped away. And the Chicago Bears will survive in Chicago. And Jay Cutler made a crucial mistake, but the defense does end up having their back, and Jeremy Langford's just going to run this one out as time expires. And that is basically the game for you. That is the game for you as the Houston Texans in the Brock Osweiler era end up going 0-1. And Jay Cutler ends up proving that he is a semi-decent quarterback, and Alshon Jeffrey ends up proving that he does need to be paid. And that might be happening in the next few weeks, and we'll see what happens with the contract negotiations. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Did you enjoy the video? Make sure to subscribe for more. Also, click in the middle of your screen for the last episode or last video I made. And if you did like the video, make sure to leave a like. It really does help. And comment down your suggestions below.